This tiny silver coin once bought a meal, now it can buy a mansion. Discover the forgotten fortune behind the rare 1916 one dime that changed American coin history forever. The year is 1916, and America is standing on the edge of great transformation as the country continues to grow and evolve. So too does its currency, and the coins minted in this era become powerful symbols of national identity and pride. Among them is the 1916 one dime, a coin that appears small and unassuming at first glance, but carries with it a story of incredible value, historical significance, artistic excellence, and national change. To truly understand the value and legacy of the 1916 one dime, we must go back to the early 20th century, a time when the United States was emerging as a global power, when President Woodrow Wilson was leading the nation, and when the economy, industry, and infrastructure were booming. The United States Mint was under pressure to modernize coinage and introduce designs that reflected the new century. The designs of Charles Barber, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, had dominated the coinage of the late 1800s and early 1900s, including the Barber dime, but by 1915 there was a clear desire for something fresh, something that symbolized liberty, not just in name, but in imagery. This is where Adolf A. Weinman enters the picture, a gifted sculptor and engraver. He was chosen to design the new dime in a contest sponsored by the Commission of Fine Arts. Weinman delivered a masterpiece that would soon become known as the Mercury Dime, although the coin officially represented liberty, wearing a winged cap to symbolize freedom of thought. The resemblance to the Roman god Mercury gave the coin its popular nickname in 1916. The first year of the Mercury Dime production, the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints began striking these coins. Each mint left its mark in a subtle way, with a tiny letter representing its city: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But it was the 1916 D Mercury Dime that would rise above all others to become one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in American numismatic history. The Denver Mint produced only 26,000 of these dimes, a shockingly low number, in contrast. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 22 million, and the San Francisco Mint produced over 10 million. This rarity made the 1916 D dime an instant target for collectors, and its value soared as demand outpaced supply. Even in circulated condition, a genuine 1916 D Mercury dime can be worth thousands of dollars, and in uncirculated mint state, it can reach into the tens or even hundreds of thousands. Collectors often search for that tiny D mint mark on the reverse of the coin just to verify its origin and authenticity. Many fakes exist, making authentication crucial, but what makes this coin so desirable goes beyond rarity. It is also about the artistry and symbolism. The obverse of the coin features liberty in a winged cap, representing freedom of thought, and the reverse shows a fasces and olive branch, symbols of unity, strength, and peace. Powerful messages in an era just before the United States would enter World War I. The 1916 one dime, especially the Denver Mint version, marks a pivotal shift in the philosophy of American coin design. It shows a move toward symbolism, toward beauty, and toward a message of democratic ideals and strength through unity. This coin was not just for spending, it was meant to represent American values every time it passed. From hand to hand, it reminded citizens of what they stood for and what the country aimed to become. During the early years of the Mercury Dime, the coin circulated widely and was used for daily transactions. It bought food, paid for bus rides, helped with savings, and was even used in vending machines over time as the design became more familiar, and as collectors realized the rarity of the 1916 D version. It was pulled from circulation and stored away in collections, museums, and safes around the world. The historical context of the 1916 dime is also vital. This was a period of global upheaval, with World War I raging in Europe and tensions rising in the United States as well. It was a time of suffragette marches, labor strikes, and rapid industrialization. The dime minted in 1916 would pass through the hands of Americans, witnessing the First War. the Roaring Twenties, the Great Depression, and the Second World War. Its legacy continued through all those moments as a silent witness to the American story. Through the decades, the Mercury Dime series ran from 1916 to 1945, when it was replaced by the Roosevelt dime following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, yet none of the subsequent designs would carry quite the same mystique and collector demand as the 1916 D dime, too. This day, coin dealers, auction houses, and collectors all seek out this legendary coin. The story of its low mintage, the artistry of Weinman, the symbolism of its design, and the passion it ignites in collectors make it one of the most iconic dimes ever struck in United States history, and it is not just the 1916 D that matters. Even the 1916 S and 1916 P have historical and numismatic value. Especially in high grades, when preserved carefully, these coins tell their own. Unique stories of minting distribution and use in different parts of the country, advanced collectors know that full band details on the reverse of the Mercury dime can dramatically increase value. The full bands are horizontal lines on the fasces and show how well the coin was struck. This detail adds a layer of grading complexity and value enhancement that makes hunting for the perfect 1916 dime all the more thrilling. The Mercury dime also inspired future coin designers and left a legacy of artistic excellence within the U.S. Mint. The impact of Weinman design is felt even today, as his initials AW can be seen on modern coins like the American Silver Eagle. The 1916 one dime serves as a perfect example of how a small object can carry immense history value and emotion. It represents craftsmanship, rarity, symbolism, patriotism, and the journey of a growing nation. It is a treasure of silver and a symbol of identity from the Denver Mint. To collectors' hands, from history books to auction catalogs, this coin lives on. If you ever come across an old dime, check the date and flip it over to look for that tiny D, because you may just be holding one of the most legendary and valuable coins in American history. And if that coin happens to be uncirculated with full bands and confirmed authenticity, you are not just looking at 10 cents. You are looking at a piece of national heritage worth more than gold in the world of coin collecting. The 1916 one dime is not just a coin, it is a legend. And this legend continues to inspire collectors, historians, and investors from generation to generation.